It is the biggest game in inter-club football in Africa. It is CAF Champions League finale between Mamelodi Sundowns versus the Pyramids of Egypt. It would be extremely foolish, extremely catastrophic, disastrous if Mamelodi Sundowns fans, the players, technical team, management would go into these two legs undermining the strength and the power of Pyramids. They did not get this far by any fluke. We gotta respect the opponent, respect the occasion, respect the event. Obviously, Mamelodi Sundowns going to this final as the overwhelming favorites because of the many times they've been part of the tournament. I mean, they've tried year in, year out to get into the final. The last time they were in the final, it was 2016. And they did not just play the final, but they won the final. And the Pyramids, they've got nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. They have no fan base, but they've got the money, they've got the players. On this episode, we are looking into this Pyramid FC. What do they actually possess? Their strengths, their weaknesses, and probably also look into what will be the probable starting 11 for the Croatian-led side. Yes, I do go by the name of Oscar. Since football, we engage and discuss on anything to do with football from Africa to the world and from the world to Africa. I would not want to be a Miguel Cardoso. Why? I would not even know the starting 11 going into that Saturday because Mamelodi Sundowns, I mean, they were a plethora of talent in every department. I mean, even the goalkeeping department, it's one that is blessed with quality. They've got a 40-year-old former goalkeeper of Africa in Dennis Onyango. They've got the South African number one Bafana captain Ronza Williams, and you've got a February who's coming. You've got the young Sanele as well. So every department is blessed, but the opposite is also true for a Pyramid FC. If you look at the regular starting 11 and you look at the threat that actually can come from the bench, it is absolute quality. Hence, we cannot go into this game undermining Pyramid FC. Now, let's actually look at what has happened in the past, let's say 5 games or even 7 games for a Pyramid FC. Something I have noted is that their last 2 games against can't pronounce some of the Egyptian club names, but the last 2 games against Zamalek and the other club, they won 1-0 and 2-0 respectively. But if you go back as to fight the last 5 games, they've won 2. And they've won 3, and then they've lost 3. The games they have lost against the National Bank of Egypt and against Farco, they conceded 2 goals apiece on those games. And looking at how they actually conceded those goals, it's going to be interesting how Miguel Cardoso is going to prepare his boys, probably to manipulate on how we can actually even leverage on these weaknesses. But because these are weaknesses we also saw against an Orlando Pirates in that semi-final two-legged fixture. Now, the last 2 games, Fiston Mayele, the Congolese striker, was not part of the squad. I don't know. Was it caution? Because I don't follow the Egyptian league to the detail. I don't know what was it, because of suspension? Was it because he was injured? Because he was not on the bench, and nor was he on the starting 11. So that's against Zamalek and their last game, which was on Saturday, the 17th of May. You look at the player like Ramadan, the player that really I admire. The boy He's the one that killed Orlando Pirates in that second leg 3-2 win semi-final. Ramadan Sobi, he has not featured as well from the National Bank of Egypt. Lost 4-2 the Zamalek and the game on Saturday. He was not part of the squad as well. Mustafa Fati, the diminutive attacking forward. He plays on either side of the wing. He could be right wing, left wing, and he can also play closer to a number 9, which in most cases is a Mayele. But since Mayele is not featured in the last 2 games, or so even in the game they lost against the National Bank of Egypt, Hamdi was the one who helped the guys score those goals. You'll notice that Mustafa Hamdi was playing closer to the number 9s. The Adele, which did not feature in the semi-finals, is back, and he has been, I think he scored 2 goals or 3 goals in these 5 fixtures, the last 5 games. Now, you notice how these guys have set up. The Croatian tactician has been consistent. He employs normally a 4-3-3. If it is a 4-4-2, it will be a Havertz who can play as a left back, who can play as a left winger, more in the mold of a Tapelo Murena, is versatile. Tapelo Murena can play as a second striker, as a 9, as a right winger, and as a right back. No different from this Havertz. So sometimes if a Havertz is played, if you look at that first leg against Orlando Pirates, Havertz was on paper it looked like a 4-3-3, but when they don't have the ball, it becomes a 4-4-2 with Havertz occupying as that left flank or the left fullback role. And then who was left in front? It was Fiston Mayele with that diminutive Mustafa Egyptian Fati. So they can variate their 4-3-3. At times it can easily become a 4-2-3-1 when they are looking for goals, leaving a Toure or El Karti in the middle, or a Lashin, ever since that game against Orlando Pirates, he has not also featured in the last four games. And it's interesting that another guy who has come back, it's Atef. In that midfield, he plays more as a number 8, a box-to-box midfielder. Now, we got to look at these guys' strengths. They have goals in them. Pyramids have goals in them. That's why you can't sleep on them. You can't undermine them, because they can come centrally, but their biggest strength is how aggressive they can be in the box. So they play a lot of crosses, but it's not a team that's playing helicopter football. They can play on the floor. They are a team that's they play more often. Not a typical North African side that will park the bus. They are okay having an open game with the opponent. It doesn't matter the stature of the opponent. The 1-1 draw against Egypt, which probably they might be very angry with themselves today, because that's the game they should have won. Ahly equalized on the 5th additional minute, 95th minute of the game against the Pyramids. On that game, the Pyramid FC, they played so well. They had so many chances, and yet again, how they considered the goal was Ahly came to them vertically and made a blunder, and that's how these guys actually scored. But anyway, so crosses, they are aggressive in the box. You have a Hamdi who has scored, I think, 3 goals in the last 5 games. You have a Fiston, Mayele. You have a Ramadan Sobi, number 10, who is not featured in the last 2 games, who absolutely killed Orlando Pirates in that second half of the second leg. He's the one who scored the equalizer to make it
make it 2-2. Eventually, the last goal was scored by a Fiston Mayele. So very aggressive in the box, and then they play a lot of crosses. Some of the crosses, they come from the right flank. It can be their right back Chibi, who likes bombing up and down, and Mustafa Fati, he can be on the left, he can be on the right. The first goal came from Mustafa Fati on the left side for a Mayele. Caught the defense of Orlando Pirates sleeping. So here's the thing: if the Mamelodi Sundowns defenders are sleeping, these guys they have a tendency of you know what, their strikers, their role is really to be in between our defenders. In this case, I think it's going to be a Grand Kekana and a Musa Lebusa. Aerially, these are some of our best defenders. Maybe you can add Mvala as well there. So they need to communicate very well, because Fiston Mayele or Hamdi are going to be right there. So they play a lot of diagonal balls. I mean, if you look at the second goal they scored against Orlando Pirates in that second leg fixture, I mean, the ball comes from it's diagonal next to the center line, and a Koki is caught sleeping. But again, our goalkeeper must be super alert in these situations, because when a cross is played, I think this is a match where we are going to see a Ronza Williams coming out of his 6-yard box to punch those balls away, because they do. Hamdi is a big figure. Fiston Mayele is physical, so that's their biggest strength. That is just their biggest strength. But you should also like the fact that they've got a midfield that loves playing the ball. You've got the Burkinabe Toure. You've got a Lachine, you've got a Atef, you've got a Lankarti. These guys are it's just if you are neutral going into this match, these are two ball playing football clubs, and if the outside world, outside the continent, they will be watching this CAF Champions League, they're definitely going to enjoy this game, because it's going to be open play, and you're going to see the technical abilities of both midfield. I think the weakest department of Pyramid FC is their defense, and they've had a consistent back five for majority of the season. It's El Shanawi, the Egyptian, the goalkeeper, right back Chibi, left back is Hamdi, and then the central pairing is a Semi and a Marais. They've had these guys. So the advantage to this is that they know each other. But again, they concede a lot of goals. So that's actually what I've really outlined about these guys. They're star players. they're coming from everywhere. It's your Fiston Mayele, it's Ibrahim Adel, it's Mustafa Fati. You can't look away from the Burkinabe Toure in that middle. From the bench, you've got a Nigerian, I think it's Sadiq Awujole. Yeah, Sadiq Awujole. He's good, man. He's good. Some of the interesting duels or battles we will see on the field. Ribeiro against the Chibi. I think Chibi is Moroccan, yeah. Ribeiro against Chibi. Ribeiro normally plays on the left, but he's not your typical winger who goes to the byline. He likes cutting in, and this obviously at times will pull a Chibi, giving probably a room for a Reyners to pull one of the centre backs to a vacant that has been, a position that has been left vacated by a Chibi. And then a Reyners, if he goes that side, he'll be pulling a Murray with a Reyners coming centrally. So there's going to be a lot of battles, as I've mentioned. Chibi against against a Lucas Ribeiro, and then you have our Aubrey postman Mudiba against Mustafi. I think this is one battle I'm really concerned about. Aubrey Mudiba with the ball, oh, a wonder to watch. When we have the ball, when he initiates things, he can join the middle to make it a 4. If we're starting with the 4 at the back, he will join the middle to add numbers and to have more numbers against the opposition in the midfield, and the progression of the ball to the forward players, to Teshrik Matthews on his side. Aubrey Mudiba, in that sense, he is a wonder to watch. But the challenge now comes when we are being attacked, especially by creative, speedy wingers. We saw how Mudiba struggled against Pesitao, I think in the AFL or CAF Champions League last season or season before. When players, wingers are taking forwards, are coming to Mudiba defensively, I don't think it's his strength. He is not a natural left back. But if you look at the bench, no one will want to see a Terence Mashiko starting against the Pyramid FC. Divine Lunga, I think, is out injured unless a Tapelo Morena plays there. But a Tapelo Morena playing as a left back, it would be obviously because we are concerned about the pace of a Mustafa Fati against a Mustafa Fati of Egypt. But overall, it's going to be a tough battle. Just happy that we won't be seeing one team. Pyramid FC are not going to park the bus. They will come here and they're going to play. Toure versus Allende. Some would think it's going to be a Toure versus a Mukwena, but I think it's going to be a Toure versus Allende. Allende is going to ensure that the Toure does not have time on the ball. Probably an Arkarti will be assigned to be breathing on Tebogo Mukwena's neck. Fiston Mayele against our centre backs. Reyners against their centre backs, which is a Marais and a Semi. Well, I think I've said enough about what to expect from the side of Pyramid FC. Which starting 11 am I expecting from them? Al-Shenawi, the normal back 5. Al-Shenawi, Chibi, Hamdi, Semi, Marais, the centre back. The midfield 3 of a Toure, a El Karti, and probably a Atef will come back if Mohamed Lashin, I think, is injured. He is not back. And the front 3 of Adele, unless they're going to start with big men. Yeah, they might actually start with big men. Start with Hamdi and a Fiston Mayele with the Fati on the right. So it might look something like a 4-3-1-2, which is like a 4-3-3, with the double 9 attempting really to leverage on their strength, which is when crosses are played into the box, or they will really fight for everything, with a Fati fighting for all secondary balls. Mamelodi Sundowns, I believe it's going to be the normal starting 11. Williams, Mudau, Mudiba, centre backs, Lebusa, Grand Kekana. They've done well in these past games, and they've scored a lot of goals in the past 5 games, even 7 games. And then you have, because in the past there was this notion that Sundowns is not creating a lot of chances, they're not taking a lot of shots at goal, but that changed a lot after that second leg fixture, Al Ahly in Egypt. There's been a lot of shots taken, there's been a lot of goals scored, a lot of chances created. Now the challenge will be, do you sacrifice an Adams so that you can have, a lethal front 4? Because obviously we're going to have a Mukwena and a Lender. But the question is, do you put in an Adams there, or you put an Adams on the bench so that the front four can have an early goal as possible, or 2 goals in the first half. I think I'll take the latter. Put Adams on the bench, have a front four of Arthur Sales. It would be nice to have him Shishi, but Arthur Sales, he is also a plus when we are defending set pieces. He's actually decent aerially. He can actually cause a threat for us when we have set pieces. So I'll start Sales on this one. Sales, Teshrick Matthews, Ribeiro, and a Renas. As to how, I think the one player we all know will be coming from the left flank is a Tesh Matthews. Tesh, Renas, Ribeiro, together they work very, very well. But I will not be surprised if the coach starts with an Adams in place of a Salas. Let me hear what you think on the comments below of how must we approach this. As I said, I don't think Pyramid FC are going to park the bus. They are coming here to play. We saw what they did at FNB against Orlando Pirates. And but yeah, man, Sundowns, it is the biggest game in the last 9 years for us, and really we need to win this one. My prediction, I believe we might actually win this one 2-0. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and engage on the comments below. Good luck to both teams, health and all to both teams, and may football be the winner at the end of these 2-legged fixture. Now let me end it there by declaring, may my God bless you all.